Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all who view us them all over the world. And once again, we're back for to discuss issues or matters of political and social import in Sierra Leone. And we all know say we normally carry this broadcasting in Creole just because the primary audience are the people of Sierra Leone. So today is Sunday, October 22nd, 2023. So we welcome comments both by phone or in Facebook and other medium that we would use for transmit with information. So also, I would like to just notify everybody about the various numbers that we can encourage people and for call, just in case. Then get for follow. We on one of them, their medium there. For example, if you're calling from North America, when Canada, the United States, and Florida, and Mexico, we strongly encourage people, if you want to put in a free call for make your comments, to call 1-866-944-7722, 1-866-944-7722. That is if you're calling from Mexico, Canada, or the United States. That's the toll-free line. If you're calling from the United Kingdom, then you can call the local number from here, when a plus 44 2080891455, plus 44 2080891455. If you call from Australia, there's also a local number when a plus 61 290984 Again, plus 61 290984 If you call from WhatsApp, which I'm sure you can use from any part of the world, but particularly Sierra Leoneans, don't make the mistake of calling toll-free because you'll be charged for it. The WhatsApp number will be 1-343-997-5828, 1-343-997-5828. We're also carried on VOS radio when 91.9 FM. VOS radio in Freetown, which is 91.9 FM, FM. And for the moment, the 91.9 can be received or heard in the eastern part of Freetown. It doesn't go all the way yet, or as yet, to the other part of Freetown, the western area, and into the mountains. So if you are in like Lumley Beach, Aberdeen, Moreton, Sussex, all them places, and then when I can get 98.9, 91.9, that's because it is the frequency, the good yonder hit, but pretty soon that will be accomplished. Okay, so today we just try to discuss current issues. And you will not say, since the election in June in Sierra Leone, there have been questions raised in many quarters as to the propriety of the manner in which the election was conducted. And then there was a lot of issues raised about irregularities and the degree to which the election was peaceful, and whether the perceived peace or peaceful behavior of the citizenry was a coerced peace, meaning that peace was forced on the country by the showing of force by armed security people, or whether this was just something where the people and just decide on their own because the atmosphere was such that there was no need to be loud, confrontational, oppositional. So the peace, as it appeared to be, was a genuine, peaceful atmosphere the day of the election, or whether that was a forced, or that it appeared to be peaceful, but the undercurrent was people were forced to not to venture into the streets for one reason or another. Now, we know say the back and forth, there's this, we know the history, the short history or recent history, that the APC was the APC in particular, but the opposition in general, because we therefore distinguish between APC as a party and the opposition. Because before the elections and during the elections, and I think even currently, there are many opposition parties and members of the opposition who are not part of APC. There were many other small or smaller parties then who participate. Parties then headed by somebody like lawyer Charles Magai. He was neither APC nor SAPP. You get a party like C4C during the elections. You get the one headed by Dr. Femi Claudius Cole. And you get another party, which name I cannot remember, headed by Mr. Sandi. So there were many other opposition parties then headed by extremely credible and respectable people. So we just have to make that distinction there. So, but the APC being the larger or the largest of the opposition parties then took a position. Well, first of all, realize it because of the proportional representation policy that was implemented into the elections, it kind of swallowed all the rest of the opposition, the other parties them. So no other party was able to win anything as opposed to 5 years ago, where you get different people and will win under different banner, from NGC, C4C, and all that one and there. But this time, it just boiled down to APC and SAPP, which we will talk about, whether that's good or bad for the country. But we careful taking into consideration and make that distinction there. And then, so now we try to figure out, so APC, it appears, and I can be corrected, that there was, at some point, the government of Sierra Leone, the current government of Sierra Leone, go into some kind of dialogue with APC, not necessarily the opposition, but with APC, try for resolve some differences, because APC take the position that they will not participate in governance. The members not going to parliament, then city council members will not be involved in governmental affairs until certain things or certain irregularities are addressed. So because of that, after some pushing and shoving, eventually the Western nations, them, or the EU, probably the US, try for encourage just the two parties, SAPP and APC. SAPP, this is the governing party now, for come up with a dialogue. So we'll go address that, whether that's the best route, and whether even with the other parties, then independent people them abroad, the EU, the UN, the US, whether sometimes some of them compromises there wouldn't force parties them into, now in the best interest of the country, without dealing with the underlying issues, for prevent a recurrence of waiting people in the complaint board. So we'll deal with the dialogue between the two parties them, and the communique with them put out there, and some of the flaws them of the communique, and we believe, say, at the end of it all, what happened with NGC, where them going to an agreement with SAPP, I think we're about to see a repeat because of too many vagueness in the so-called agreements that they put together. That said, let me stop at this point and just turn it over to my co-host, Mr. Victor Mengas, who comes to you people from the county of Surrey, England, and who needs no introduction, as you people know. Not only is he an able presenter of issues, but is one of the best you may hear on some of them transmissions that already take place across the world on Sierra Leone and many other issues. He's good at so many things. That said, Mr. Bengot, I turn it over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Shillon. And today, again, as usual, I'm joining now from the county of Surrey in the UK, we're in Southeast England. And as usual, we want to throw a light into this whole issue. We'll start with waiting at the theme of this week's discussion tonight. Because all the two they're talking about democracy and governance. And when they talk about democracy, central to any democracy is the interest of the people. Because it's simple, democracy, government of the people, by the people and of the people. And when you talk about governance, now when you talk about how you they protect your people, how you they provide services for them, how then they access other things like economic and social opportunities. So democracy and governance, very intertwined. But then we don't get this dialogue. What next after the dialogue? So let's start from what was this dialogue all about? Now that's what we want to talk about. We will go through them. Because the origin of this dialogue, now we get waiting a form when at the Peace and Cohesion Commission. This was a recommendation right back from when we get the TRC, say we forget a peace commission. Yes, President Bio do well. He come back with this peace commission. He go through parliament. We appoint people that are peace commissioners. So now then can say, okay, we don't see what's in the happen. And in governance, you need the government and what will be no use, you need the other side. So when APC say they're not going to take pass because they not agree with the elections where they conduct, the processes and the results, it worry the government and it worry with international partners then. So then say, let them find way for let then two parties come together for solve the problem. But then let's go back to, because now this thing we like for talk about fact. President Bio himself say, when we go in, say you cannot remove government by violence. He said that the only way you can remove a government now by the ballot box, or when you want to change situation. So we get this election, where for people then go voice them out. For say, okay, what we don't know is whether the will of the people prevail. But then with the situation, they don't swear in the government. They don't declare President Bio as the winner. On one side, people then they say, let we move on. No need for talk about election. Let's talk about peace. But are we at war? I don't think so. But then you get the other side where say the election not been credible, including some of the election observers them. So that is the reason we've been getting this dialogue. But was it the right move? Now that's what we want to talk about now. What is the importance of this dialogue? Did we get it right? Is it the way to solve the problem? Because the problem in Bokupas, just who win election, who they go participate in government, and the wishes of the people. So now that way they look at a non-partisan, we invite him, no monopoly in knowledge, but be civil. Everybody get right to your opinion. But we will assess them from the legal part of it the institutional part of it, and the wishes of the people. So let's start first by looking at why this dialogue they set up, the preamble. So over to you, sir. And if we control, I can show the preamble because we have to put it in context. Why was this dialogue set up? So let's start from under the preamble, paragraph C. So over, sir. Let's start from that, Mr. Shillon.
Paragraphs. Okay, paragraph C is saying that noting that the laws of the Republic of Sierra Leone, especially the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act 6, 1991, are sacrosanct. Well, yeah, sometimes some of them draft my shit.
You don't read down there. What they mean, it means say, okay, we start from that point of view there. We say, okay, whatever would they do, right? We have to consider the primary law in Sierra Leone when at the 1991 Constitution. So if we go to D, I will leave, then I'll get my co-host where in the legal man, because any agreement get legal connotation. So in go throw some word before we go to the agreement proper. Then this given that the parties to the mediated dialogue, government of Sierra Leone and the All People's Congress, note records of cases filed in the Supreme Court against the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone, ECSL. So in other words, there's an admission here that even before they came to this dialogue, there are cases that have been filed in the Supreme Court with the main people that will organize this election when at the ECS. So if me colleague now can throw a light on that and let people understand the context under which they mention this. Over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, in fact, certain things we mentioned there, I can say, I think usually, like paragraph C, when they talk about and the laws are sacrosanct, I fail to see that in the sense that if they are sacrosanct, why is it that the Constitution say 10 years for due census, but then you get a law where undermine that requirements there, that the president, however, can do midterm census. So I'm not so sure the laws in the Constitution as they are today, we consider it sacrosanct. I think we just, because if so, the way you interpret the Constitution, no other act of Congress or Parliament can vary or undermine or abridge what in the Constitution say. What in the Constitution say is sacrosanct. I agree, but I'm not so sure what the treats what in the Constitution say as such. So that's not number one. But that said, the preamble then at the screen for all to see, and I guess the agreement, and I even see the connection between some of the preambles that I have with respect to the nature of the agreements reached. So that said, I don't know whether my co-host wants to make a read them or just make general commentary.
No, I think let's go through one. You don't talk about C. D, they talk about given that the parties in this dialogue of Sierra Leone is between the All People's Congress and the SLPP, that the results, there are some cases in the Supreme Court. They talk about cases in the Supreme Court against the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone. So if there are cases in the Supreme Court, throw light into this. Because the first case we'll be get, we will not interview somebody in this, a prominent
lawyer,
political bigweight bigwig, when a lawyer and political party leader, where even before the election, he did not take the Electoral Commission to court, questioning the suitability of the ECSL commissioner, when Nain then give so much power. Because all members say all the argument, then they say, Nain no more get right for call results. Nain no more get right for determine whose information in the put.
Loses, yeah.
So that case they not done it. It's on adjournment. So they recognize that. Then recently we get the case of La Sembe Mara. I don't know if we technical team can put in reaction, because inside get case in a court to this dialogue and the communique where them put together. So if we look at La Sembe Mara, I say, I knew at a very tender age that the people of Sierra Leone are mere pawns in the game of politics between APC and SLPP. So in other words, we the people then they between, like when they say, when two elephants they fight, now the grass underneath, now they suffer. So we the people them, now we there between them two giants here, where they fight. Then they say, imagine APC deprive us of a full governance composition for months. So in other words, for 4 months now, APC did not say they don't take part in government because of certain things and way. Yeah.
If you read the sentence in full, it matters.
Okay. It says, imagine APC deprive us of full governance composition for months, only to ask for the full entitlements after not serving SLPP-led government, cannot release electoral designated data over 100 days after the election, but that they say the constitution is sacrosanct. The same constitution that gives the people the right to know information. I am for peace and national unity on any day, but I'm the first for truth and justice. Unfortunately, we continue to be hostages to these two parties. This is what Lawyer Sengbe Mara say, because instead be not go court for say the thing that way APC been asked for, the disaggregated data by polling station, let them get them. And you not get them, so then waste with time, then go pan this dialogue. So waiting that you comment on that, sir, because I want part the case land we're still in a court. Because during the discussion, when they mention them, the other side say they not go discuss them because the matter in a court is sub judice. What you take on that argument? Because it's mentioned in the preamble.
Yeah, except for the fact that I'm more inclined to go along with Mr. Sembe Mara than I am with APC and SLPP. To say that issues, because one of the arguments where APC raised all along, why they not go participate in governance and why they will not go to court, is because technically they consider the court itself in this dispute as irrelevant. The court itself is irrelevant. Although some of us said, well, where else will you go? Like it or not, whether you can predict the outcome before the trial, at least you make a record of the fact that you took your matter to court and the court decides look the other way. But APC waived that right there. And for me as a lawyer, one basic rule we then teach is that any right that you have must never be waived. No right you should waive. It's a basic rule. So APC was required to go to court regardless of how much faith they lack in the system. But then before cover that base day and go to court, so it gives them more latitude and pedestal for argue the point. Now, Mr. Sembe Mara, in point here is simple. After making all these points, this and that, but disaggregated result and openness and transparency, What did APC put? And I've always argued that the misfortune for Sierra Leone is that we will not get viable opposition to APC and SAPP. This is not a misfortune, in the sense that you can look at the outcome of this election and say, at APC won, people will have never seen any difference in their lifestyle. The reason being, the first thing APC asked for with this dialogue is back compensation or benefit. Almost we lost, we members of parliament not going to parliament for 3, 4, 5 months. So number one, top on the list, we want to be compensated. Nobody is saying they should not ask for it, but that was all what would complain about. I don't think that should have been number one on the list, but this is where the APC people then focus on. They now focus on all the injustices and the other and things that would have take place. And two, I have always taken the position that, and now we see so many things by this preamble, we now see where the ECSL itself, that is one of the institutions that we will treat and guard very dearly, because if one gets an efficient democracy, we forget a reliable and trustworthy commission of elections or election commission. And it should be headed by somebody who is trustworthy, that we forget confidence in. But what happened? Lawyer Magai went to court way back then. And the authorities, we the authorities now, the opposition and the government, and they undermine the law themselves. And they want to play this game of, would I get power? Now I ain't get the law. Where a democracy will never work. There is a reason why we keep saying 3 arms of government: legislature, executive, and the judiciary. But not only 3 arms, we say 3 independent arms of government. For the system to work efficiently, they should be independent from each other. So there are too many overlapping authorities. You not see the independence. The clerk of parliament is appointed by the president. So the president get connection there. So that it shouldn't happen in a real democracy. The president should not be appointing anybody, not even a dog catcher, for parliament. But we see that. So the president gets a constant presence in parliament, constant representative presence in parliament. But we want the system to work, or they undermine the system. So it's not going to work that way. Then the other thing is, when Lawyer Magai go to court and raise the issue of the qualification of the ECSL, Mr. Kone, in qualification for head the ECSL, my disappointment is that the court should consider their independence. If they too, they have a responsibility to make the system work. They cannot just stand on the sidelines. It's like playing soccer or football. You get a referee, you get linesmen. If the linesmen then decide, say, well, we'll get a referee, so we're not going to pay attention, we're going to talk to spectators then, the game will not be well officiated, because the referee, there's a reason why they get referee linesmen on both sides. Now, let them see what in the referee not see, and let them call to the referee attention what in the referee not see. So now, if we get a court system that is supposed to be independent, that should be no less powerful than the executive, and the most important of the 3 branches na parliament, because now they all the laws then emanate, now they all the laws then they come from. So parliament now the most important of them 3 branches then they. And anybody who understands politics, political science, or government, knows say, even in a democracy, most times the executive headed by either the prime minister, if it's in the constitution, and they will get, but not that we get, or the president, it will try for grab more power, and for try for misinterpret the laws in favor. That's why you have the court as the referee. But when the courts give up their authority and begin to take directives from the executive, then the system gets completely mixed up, because, and so when we talk about for build institution number one, word for build, now forget a trustworthy electoral commission and a trustworthy electoral commissioner and a trustworthy electoral commission staff. So one lawyer Magai go to court, he say Mr. Kone no qualify. And the qualifications they were named were just straightforward. The court should have realized the political importance of that. That's not the kind of case you hold in perpetuity, you just hold when left unsuspended. These are cases of national importance that should be addressed very quickly. But the court never did. They postponed the case for political convenience. But in the end, the country suffers. Okay? The country suffers because when decisions of that kind, and now I go on a good example. Now I make once upon a time with a complaint about Africa. But now we're seeing some good examples in Africa. Before the last election, where Kenya get, previous to that, when the former president Kenyatta, I'm talking about 5 or more years ago, he won or was declared the winner. The opposition went to court, to the Supreme Court of Kenya. The court take jurisdiction of the matter very quickly, address the issue, and declare Mr. Kenyatta in victory null and void, and give them 90 days, give the country 90 days for getting a new election. That's the role a court for play. This happened in Kenya. Okay, the Supreme Court step in and say, we think, say, the other side presented they made a persuasive case of irregularities. Therefore, would they nullify this victory, Mr. Kenyatta, and would they give winner with the opposition 90 days for go back, campaign, and let we get new elections. But when you get a court that sits and pretends not to understand their own role, all that does, not only give undue advantage to one branch, when at the executive branch, but it really affects, because the end, the victim of all of this in the country, watching at the country and the people. So these are some of the things we should be mindful of. So instead of trying to build the institution of the Electoral Commission, we are trying to sidetrack that and pretend like, for say, we'll not get a problem. So, Mr. Mara, I agree with him wholeheartedly. APC now strike me as, well, people in no my own position. I've always said APC and SAPP are two sides of the same coin. This is not fact. Neither one of them party are better past the other. Okay? Because you can tell by them policy. And so my thing is, and at one point, the country really cries out for good leadership. We will get Mr. Yomkela or Dr. Yomkela, and since everybody's so sensitive about the alcohol there, so Dr. Yomkela will bring some hope that one day Sierra Leone will get back to its glorious years, which in party. But because, as expected, in party, win the number of seats in parliament or win the election or not win the presidency. So he found himself in a situation where 5 more years was much too long. So he decided to go back to the party where they abandon, where they criticize. So now the leadership in this Sierra Leone gets. So this is what we'll get for contend with,
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of issue for discuss, let's go back to the preamble and let's see, because now we don't look at some of the things that we'll find out wrong, the institutional lapses, the thing that where the people are not involved. We talk about 2 big people and where they we get involved in the whole thing. Then I think say the APC talk also under F, nothing further that the All People's Congress continues to demand for the immediate resignation of the chairman and chief electoral commissioner of the regional commission. That's fine. Then we'll talk about the government of Sierra Leone notes the provision of section 32 of the constitution as amended. Then we'll go to H. The APC acknowledges the relevance of section 2 under the right of accession when 9 lawyer Senge Mara bring come to we notice. So if they be acknowledge that, even if they're not been trust the judiciary, why then didn't they use that act to demand for the information they need? But now it didn't the right? And also the final part, when I say noting that no individual or candidate who participated in the election be actually get any petition within 7 days. Yeah? So when you look at that thing and they, it come back to what you the talk, sir. I've been in Kenya. I know what thing and they do. One of the problems we'll get now this Oriori thing, because according to constitution and some of the practice in Sierra Leone, they say once you call a result, you announce somebody as a winner, right? That before midnight, you don't declare that person, they swear I mean as president. That is one of the things we get for look for change. Because if you look at the Kenyan system, even the 7 days we give for petition, right? We can extend them to 30 days. Why hurry? Say, okay, even within 30 days, you not for swear any president in, let people not put a petition against any irregularity, whether responsibility, not only political parties, but also registered voters. Because Kenya, the system, after the election, then give term for put petition. And until that petition they go through, there's no swearing in of president. But in Sierra Leone now, the moment when they don't say, and not to this government beginner, let's be honest, it has been the same practice in the past. You know, the moment they don't read the result, there's this rush for go swearing in the president. You know, and we've been seeing this last time. The Chief Justice been there again, robe already in a bag. So as they call and so then just it's like lamb to the slaughter. Then whisk come in for go swearing in the president. And once that happen, then we get Sierra Leoneans, both at home and in the diaspora, where they say, well, they don't declare winner, it don't done. Don't forget about all what happen. Even if the election we get complaint, now look forward to the next 2028. So now that's not the issue they talk about. Then again, we don't see the preamble. Now let's go now to when them two parties, they don't sit down for 72 hours. Somebody said this is not the longest 72 hours in the political dispensation of Sierra Leone. We also get with people then from ECOWAS, from EU, no, ECOWAS, from the AU, the African Union, and Commonwealth. In fact, the chair of this negotiation, now a lady vice president of the Gambia, we then talk about this resolution, everything. They say, well, Gambia and culture similar to we own. Then do all kinds of things for big up the whole issue. So now, when they come to the thing that where they agree proper, now look at the institutions, them, the people that are involved, and look at the thing that we talk about. The separation of powers between the three, because all these things you have to deal with parliament, their role, the judiciary, their role, and the executive, their role. So let's start first with the first thing is, which is number one, on which they agree. After all this draw where they don't sign, they say His Excellency the President to make a national address on dialogue, unity, cohesion, and peace. Members say, whereas the APC then contender when I've been the flag bearer, when Dr. Samuel Kamara now lead the delegation. But the government, yes, they get it right. They nominate the chief minister for lead the government delegation. And I sure say he did that under the direction of the president. That is fine. We have no question with that. But then immediately after they not sign this communique, ideally, the first thing we then say for do now the president for address the nation. So since the communique, we not get the president address the nation yet. But also, he get busy schedule now, how they travel up and down. He's saying they go promote the image of the country, which is fine. But we get an interview to Al Jazeera. Lord play this interview because what he's saying in that interview day, part of an excerpt from this interview, it gets a bearing on what they agree at the communique. So if we, because then they go make people the way they listen, we not just the talk out of context, we the talk looking at waiting the happen. So if we technical team
2002, since the war ended, is there any risk of violence returning? And you started your second term as president in July. There was an election. It was controversial. I'll get onto that in a moment. But as the results were announced, the opposition leader, Samora Kamara, claimed live rounds were fired at his office. Are you worried that violence could break out in any way in your country again?
There were no shots fired there. There were claims of that. The police investigated. The observers went there. They saw no sign of anything. Of course, elections are always contentious, as you would definitely agree, and therefore, in the process like that, like war, the truth is the first casualty. So people will say anything to get the sympathy of the international community.
Well, let me just pick you up on the election, exactly what happened, because I said it was controversial. You needed 55% to avoid a second round of the election. You got 56%, yes, according to the Election Commission. But an independent coalition of civil society groups, National Election Watch, which has been looking at your elections for 15 years, they estimate you only got 50%. And also in some districts, there were reports there were more votes cast than there were registered voters, and the EU said that there was some mistrust around the electoral process. So just on the record, were you fairly elected?
Oh, yes. I will win again if we went to another election. I've worked very hard for the country, and there was every evidence available even before the elections that I was going to win. The election was free, fair, and transparent. Of course, like I've said, elections are very contentious.
Even where we're speaking in New York, in the US, they're contentious.
Well, I mean, as we speak, I think even President Biden's position is still being contested. So elections everywhere. We are a fledgling democracy.
You have elections in Sierra Leone, but if you look around your region in recent months, in your part of Africa, power is changing hands not with elections. And I tell you, Mali, your next door neighbor, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Niger, and most recently Gabon, all coups. Yet you go back just a few years, and between...
And Mr. Shillon, you will comment, there are two things which came out of this. Number one, and we will go through the communique. With President Askam, say, because this was one of the contentions or one of the complaints of SLPP, or the APC party, say there was violence, they been shooting at the office, and even I remember some interview there, even the leader of the APC, where they give in opening speech, say himself he was under threat, his life was under threat, and all the rest of it. Now here we say the president, he said nothing like that happened. Secondly, he says he win the election fair and fair. He said he will win from beginning. So, if that is the case, right? My own question is, After the dialogue, a number one recommendation is that it should address the nation. How come up till now we not address the nation? Because that should be the start of the peace process. But then we hear in an interview stating in position which is entitled to, completely at odds with some of the things them way we discuss, say make, then get this dialogue, we make the opposition no go court. So over to you, sir. Or they no go court or then participate in government. We say it as it is, we are doing it on evidence. In case people then begin say, we dey take sides. No, we provide you with the evidence, we do the analysis. The phone lines are open, you can come in and comment. Over to you, sir, Mr. Shillon.
Thank you very much again, Mr. Mengot. Yeah, as a reminder, we strongly encourage callers, viewers to call in or send in comments with respect to the topics that we will deal with today. So you don't have to wait. Sometimes I do get a little bit tardy by not announcing the openness of the discussion and that people are free to call at any time. Okay? So please, you are welcome to call at any time. Now, we hear the comments, or sometimes I sound a little bit hesitant when I'm speaking because comments do come on the screen that I would like to just give a little thought to. Like there's one here, if we can make it larger, I have a question for the APC and the media. Has ECSL ever published any disaggregated results in the history of Sierra Leone's elections? The consolidation of
Let me
constitutional
continue for you
review,
because
constitutional review.
the Constitutional Review Committee recommendation not
address
these
These
issues
only to be ignored by
Alex
yeah.
Kuma.
That may be true.
Does the APC acknowledge these things? So, okay, that's fine. You can comment on that, sir, because he was saying that, yeah.
Okay, but let's assume everything this person say is correct. It was not addressed by APC, that the recommendations were made, but they were ignored by the APC government. And also when Christiana Top asked the SAPP Solomon Brewer to go, okay, the comment is incomplete. But this is the point we keep making. How long are we going to go through that? You see, I think people are missing the point. Assuming that all these points are true, when are we going to start doing things the right way? Because when people send in this kind of comments, my position is, right is what is right or what is wrong is in the eyes of the beholder. If now you get power and you're a sympathizer for a party, and there are so many people of that kind, they see no wrong. So now SAPP they in power, the country be damned. Now Oda get power, now him get right. So the right is synonymous, or power is synonymous with right. Well, we say in the long run, or even in the short run, it is not good for the country. Is it morally right for APC to demand payment for work they have not done? I don't know what that means. But so you see, people keep viewing Sierra Leone's problem. When you tell people and say 62 years of independence, we've lost all we had and we keep going backward, for some reason people don't see it. They are just focused on who is in power. And the interesting thing is you get like-minded people in both parties who will care less what economic suffering people are going through, what hardship people are going through. So some people, it's plain and simple. The party you support can never do wrong. Well, the real point is we did encourage people for rise above that. So, I mean, if you support SAPP, not necessarily we'll see wrong. APC, everything you say, because for those who listen to us, we've given APC as much fault. And we've even gone to the point of saying some of the powers being used by President Bio, not to legislations then way them passed during President Bio in terms of powers with them apparently preserve or project for an APC government. We agree with all of that. That's why people like me, they argue, say APC and SLPP are two sides of the same coin. No, we don't show, we're not to give one credit over the other, because these are parties would get a rotational policy. Within a power, you switch from the other side, you can't join this other side. So there's plenty of faults to go around. So we're not saying that. But how do we solve the problem? Is it people who send in comments, is when I just one follow where agree say, would that in a power, and get right, you can pass any kind of law? Where Shaka Stephen kind of power declare one party system? That was bad. Even if you're an APC person, you for no say that was wrong. You know, help the country. But so, should that be a justification for a succeeding government with kind of power? We're not going to try for correct things, try for build institutions, so we go move forward. That's why I give the Kenya example, how the court system has come around, you know, and how they've managed to summon the courage where they can get a decision against a presidential winner. So these are some of the things we talk about for say, so we welcome the views, but we want some people for begin to understand that you can't say because Anis Kuruma not do this, so it's okay if SLPP not do this. They not do the same thing. You can't say because Anis Kuruma do this, so it's okay if SLPP. So I mean, if we take that policy or that idea there, we're not going to move forward, because one thing we all will agree on. Whether we SLPP or APC, look, we country compared to Liberia, compared to Guinea, we're way behind them compared to Gambia. So instead of us trying to look at where the faults lie, people are saying it's okay, and we are saying it's not okay, because you can't keep things going in that direction there. They say there was no need in the past for disaggregated results to be published, but now there is a need. So you know that something is fishy here. Well, okay.
I think, Mr. Shillon, we don't get any comment, then they're fine, because we get a lot of things. We don't talk about the president. The need, right now, we need the president more, right? And we appeal to BOS that if indeed the first thing Nafole address the nation and wait till you go talk to the international community, they can talk until we believe them. Let make commitment to go hold them to say you're not the father of the nation. You go get for tell we, because you did talk about peace, cohesion. We are waiting for that, because now makes us say what next after the dialogue. The first thing is, when are we going to have this presidential address? Because it will clarify all that thing. It's good to appease the international community and poke fun at them, saying Biden's contestant, fine, we know. But let us come and get the president for talk to we. So as usual, now you can get a queue. We'll get a caller on the line. Now we listen to the caller, then we can go to key other issues that we then decide in this communique. Yes, to you, sir.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
This is not Fudi Mustafa from Leicester again.
Hello, Mr. Fudi.
Thank you again once more for the time and the commitment to the show. No see this national service, even we would call, not just the call because one talk na phone, but we talk because maybe now this way we will ever help Salon with your own contribution. Yesterday, I will try to engage Mr. Cabo, but because of the line too busy, because I will talk about the same thing I talk about right now, about the bad things the way the government did do. Because, at the time for telling, say, the SLPP, they're not getting nothing for gain the good way by doing all the wrong things, because SLPP don't do it before. I will try to give the analysis of the numbers, because in terms of population, even the one way Kone register, the one the way everybody know about registration, the back will be happen. Yet then we register 58% of the people register from the northwestern region. and 42%. Tell them back say, you know, say Kono, they no mix thinking, just the swing. If they pull Kono, now 37% then get. So they don't gain anything by doing all the wrong things. Una for do the right thing, because by the end of the day, this kind of impasse or this kind of problems will galvanize other people where they know they think no more, say no, we not they vote for that, but they vote regional. Then how are we gonna win power? So now you make out that analysis yesterday, say, like then they sit down, then they talk now, say, oh, Senge don't go team up na TV talk, say, we'll be whole election, we will give people them and get RR for we give a number. For goodness sake, how you go organize election? Then they pay you plenty money for the organized election. This is just your job. What do they pay you for? You go expect other persons. Oh, I've been give John 3, I've been give Musa 5. Let them put them together. We not to work. Other person they expect say now go put the RRF form them together. We announce this. No, you talk about a lie because now so then do even Kisoya. We put them they say na lie figure them. So people who they abroad. This is all my frustration. Una see abroad, una see all the good things. Una they get them. Una see what in a good governance. Una is done. The people who they call from abroad, they talk about these things. See, oh, the Resenge talk say, oh, this, that. You say this is correct. You pay person plenty money for them to do a work. You know they do them. Una expect say now that person they go do that job for them when they know they pay. This is their job. Before Connect announced this election result, even the by-election wouldn't be the whole. If they publish them by polling station, even the by-elections. The thing about Sierra Leoneans, they don't get interest. I mean, our website, when they talk about web NEC, I visit them every month because it's my interest. So at the visitor, the thing that we did, even I've been talking yesterday, and I said, my mama in village, the 3 villages they were around, they get 800 voters. They put all the police stations in the vote. I know all these things because even the one news where they go around a salon, they say the past judgment when they remove 10 parliamentarian there, and so they say they only remove 9. The one where they're not being they say by election now because the NGC na can second. That is not correct. Now SLP na can second. They make that election by election now because now the SLP became closer to winning a seat during the elections. Not because NGC never came second in Freetown, but this all the journalists and they talk about them. Everybody talk about them. Anyway, I they read the buzzer. I could stop your voice. I will continue with thought later.
Yeah, please call back. Please call back. We'll take another call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's you call from? Hello, caller. Hello. Okay.
Okay. So if we not get the caller, let the control room be key issues then they will get for discuss. Let's go back to the communique and see some of the things we agree and let's discuss some issue then they will want to throw some light on. If we can get the other part then at the communique, even if before we show them, one of the things I want to let you comment on my brother is because if I can remember off Ed, they are saying
what? Yeah,
people on the line.
Okay, let's try. Hello, caller. What's your name? Which side you call from?
Tell them coming.
Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Caller, hello? Please. Yes, please speak. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Silon. Thank you, Mr. Mongo. Me, Ahmed, I come from UK.
Okay.
At least I don't listen to the analysis when they try, and may God bless you for that. You see, I really don't understand, just like the previous speaker said. This is about Sierra Leone. You know, and we look at other nations who want for copy from what could do the good thing. But what could look at what happened with the whole lot of this election, what lead to issue with this today. We don't want for the court Christian at top immune part time again. We will continue for the payback, going back and forth, like which they emphasize every day. I don't understand why some of my brothers and sisters then we know the time for more we put good things that we mind. Where something is wrong, what we say this is wrong, because we don't want to go that way. If that man in a village he gets freedom for move, na Kailau, na Puja, na Tongo film. I remember oh small road the go there areas and day. Then Wima, Gilema, Loma, number 9. It'd be so nice. You know, cut across if we come from the north to people about them, you don't like them leave the sign. So we get friends there we cut across with the tribe, so we don't know what's in our tribe. So while we not that kind of person for set. But today, everything don't polarize, and now is the worst to receive. Voting on party line, voting on regional line, voting on tribal line. Now look how we end today. Governance system they choose by name for give employment. We see all of these things. We see the bad things where this government start for bring calm to change laws them. How can you change law within 6 months electoral law? 2022 by November we get election 2020, June. So you see all of them close there. Let's say the constitution is bad. The one way they may not be do better. Well, at least we will get a smooth transition. Then can no overstay or say, oh, because I don't I able to change the lawyer for me to continue for no. He do one genuinely. He win the second term. Of course, and Escobar the same thing. He worked 2012, he campaign. In fact, campaign. Say if you know Shalom do well, now vote for me. People then see what you do the first 5 years. Only that the second lap of your term, we see there's some small of problems and they complain. You know, so but at least now is the worst because look what we see today. And if you say we get a leader when it's on an international stage, they bring all of this and now signing a dialogue with the opposition for begin to bring whether they arrest for protest, whether they arrest for this, for use them as a bait so that you know, and not say he help the people them. He don't help the people them. Because these are people, if the law they take the cause, may the judiciary judge them, may they see why they're there. We're not supposed to do it, may they free them. It's normal. So why would you use them as a bait? Why do you use it as a bargaining chip? So that they go drop cases them first. If people then thief money, when officials then thief money, now people the money, now government money, now citizens the money. Why would not go able to drop the case for make no more continue for day, for make una continue on our own dubious activities them? It's not right for the people then. Why we not go learn lesson? We do the idea when they give it down and they count and they analyze things every day. But people know they will see all of them things there. We so blind and most of we now back then at the diaspora. We are on their good governance system. But again, we don't want to copy what they happen at all. We blame international community. We say we are sovereign states. People they try for guiding for what we do best practice or what we do something good for themselves. But we they refuse. We they support some people that for make them reach themselves. They will remain poor. We based on prayer. Every day people they pray church and they go they full up them. Now the Salon are the only nation that people they bank on prayer than any other nation at this world. One. We too prayerful. People pray past even they harass them. But look at how they end. We don't go further because of bad policies them, because of greed, selfishness. Anyway, I want to say thanks to now for the good doctor and the giveaway. God bless you now. I will continue for listening to the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please continue and encourage others for listening. And not only for listening, but for contributing like how you do so, call in and give your opinion or give your own piece. Thanks for calling. Hello, caller. What's your name? What's the call from? Hello, caller. What's your name? What's the call from? Hello.
This is Abraham. I'm calling from United States.
Okay.
So first of all, my name is Abraham.
Welcome, Abraham. Thanks for calling.
I'm good, sir. So well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you guys. You guys are really doing great. I don't know if you get me, but
clearly, very clearly.
I don't know if you get me. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Very clearly.
That me in a post way not can participate we can to saloon things there because the problem na saloon a big part of the country. I mean, it's really a sad country where we say politicians themselves not get respect for themselves. You understand? situation, you see president, the followers, them, opposition, everybody just they lie, you understand? SLPP they can they lie for the people, then APC come back, then lie for the people, and it's like an ongoing something, you understand? So the point where they say is like, I don't know whether not if now the first person maybe they talk, maybe they talk about this independent body. This not discussion where Nisebi don't get with person, but it's really I don't think say that they go get for work na salon because we later than don't they don't want anything we not free and fair, anything we transparent and no liquor. Because the any side and one side within and the day wouldn't they manipulate something. So in that vein, it could be very hard. We they pray hard, but salon in better one it get will be very difficult. You go see then choose ESL boss by the president and choose and so what you expect? At the end of the day, the president gets an hand. So he get right for do anything we do. Because like this thing where this guy do so, if they be work towards and discipline, trust me, salon for the up there, you understand? But the guy do what he get for do, then he just walk out free, then left a go I want, And since people and they win election at that country, they win not so free and fair, because then they take people the right. That country they get for be very hard for Lego before. You understand? The politicians they are not trustworthy. Whether you the APC, the SLPP, are the same people. The judiciary in worst. So you see, so it's really hard. Who don't have the trustworthy person now, who we go really get hope for say it will push that country there before. So we now get them people in there. You where they talk the truth, then go tell you decide this, you decide this, you decide that. But it's just sad. Because me what they so are not there into any party in that country there. I they help people them our able and they even show myself out. You understand? Because now better now one better for that country there. I wish one day one politician or probably a leader will go choose yonder go able to stand for the people them and be trustworthy to himself for come out plain to the public and do what he require, the good thing the way require. But it's not easy. So but I really appreciate because if we saw the talk about saloon thing, we go deeper on forever, you know what I mean? Because it's just a sad country. So but I go stop here, I give other people a chance. But I really appreciate the program. The educative to we want change in the country because some people and they listen, they don't care. You know what I mean? So I thank you now for giving me the privilege for I able to talk on this program, So thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're quite welcome. We'll greatly encourage you for keep listening, keep calling, and encourage others for call because this is in the best interest of the country. We just want to let people broaden their mind. One of the most difficulties has been people, the inability, not a reluctance, inability for rise above this partisanship. People are not able to see the wrong or that APC or SLPP they commit. Like I say, I think people that don't make wrong behavior, bad behavior, synonymous with who is in power. So if APC is in power, they can do no wrong in the eyes of their supporters, even if it's so obvious. If SLPP is in power, they can do no wrong in the eyes of the obvious, even if it's so in the eyes of the people, the supporter, even if it is so obvious. And the unfortunate side of it, once upon a time, like I refer, when there was hope of a viable third party, which is an indication we for learn from the senior. When Dr. Yom Kela lead the NGC, they were out there, people were saying, okay, at last, we will get a particular kind of power. We go be neither APC nor SPP, and we go do away with this political dominance of them two parties that have terrible record of 62 years because both of them don't rule the country. Nothing, they all not get anything for be proud about. And let me say this, when people talk, say, oh, this party make this road, this party do this party do that. But that's why when I candidate, that's why you are being elected. So nobody eats road, nobody defeat them picking them with roads. When somebody's sick, nobody not a road them. So now begin tell people them, say this party fix this road, this party fix this road. I think waiting people then begin, but people are not seem so concerned. And for we where they go out of way, and we always try to remind people them, whether they're in a foreign country, we see how them people in the run their country. We see how then they progress. We see how then they try. Some of we don't say this, like some of we have it made. We don't necessarily go for sit down to do this then show here on a weekly basis. But because we know say we ability for help with people then from abroad is very limited. They like you to send money home for 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 relatives. That is not doing them any good as it will be if the system itself is self-sustaining. You know, if the system can enable people then for sustain themselves, for get employment. When they're sick, for get good medical treatment. When they go school, for get good education. There are a lot of things we all will agree on. The education of today, you know. You see where we get a major university in the country, keep awarding honorary degree as if it's like we to drink water. They don't dilute the significance of honorary degree. We're based on certain factors for people and for game to people. So universities getting into politics, okay? So things are not getting good and better, they are getting worse. This is a country we do well, we do very much for we. And somebody sent in a comment, they talk about beneficiaries of corrupt system and non-beneficiaries of corrupt system. Well, I don't know which in the person they allude to. But I'm sure me and Mr. Mengot, I can speak for myself. I've never been a beneficiary of any governmental system in Sierra Leone. Everything I've achieved, I've been on my own, okay? You know, I was not on scholarship in high school. I don't get government scholarship like a good many of the big wheels them in parliament, in the judiciary, you know, and on and on and on. When a scholarship then go on and come abroad. So they don't even know which in a hardship. They don't know which in a suffering. They don't know which in walking and going to school or going to college means. So you get a large percentage of them, same people are in government, the scholarship boys and girls. So they will never understand the basic human suffering, even though 99% of them are for poor background. But they've been lucky enough, Sierra Leone and get scholarship for come abroad. While they are abroad, they get scholarship sustaining them. Why then go when they finish, then go back? They didn't have to work for a living. They didn't have to rub elbows with the poor and the disadvantaged. So all of that is being seen now. Why we're not able to govern, we're not able to see for even align with the poverty in the country because life has been too easy for a lot of us in power. But people like we and me on background, I wouldn't cry saying me that I didn't be poor man. I was way above many other Sierra Leoneans, you know. My parents ever cry for pay school fee for me. I go boarding school. I did boarding school 9 years, and on and on and on. But I still can see suffering, you know. I don't get for be a poor man for know what hardship mean, you know, because all around we see that. So I do not understand where this insensitivity is coming from, why people then cannot rise above that. I ran into a friend the other day, since I grew up mostly in Upper Bambara Chiefdom, Kailaun district. And there was a ferry, what they used for cross a very short bridge or river called Manawa Ferry. And I asked the gentleman, I said, that ferry still there? Or they not put the bridge in Manawa? He said, no. He said, the ferry still there. He said, the only thing about the ferry now, we'll get for full load trusses, push the ferry halfway before we jump on top for cross. We are talking about 60 some years ago. One after every day they operate. 30 days. This is a place where we get representative in parliament. They're not choose for put bridge, and I would talk about very short distance. And people are talking APC, SAPP, when both of them parties here don't rule the country. And one last comment I want to make. Any president with kind of power who doesn't understand the basic requirements that he is president for all the people of all the 17 tribes. And when you talk about when you try to declare your candidacy to be a president, maybe these are some of the things we will ask them potential leaders here. When you run, if you become president, tell us what you plan. Not for make tribalism a requirement for progress. Tell us what you plan, how you will govern with a broader umbrella who will cover all 17 tribes. Tell us what the plan will make one tribe not get undue advantage. And the last time I tried to define what undue advantage means. It's nothing wrong in life for get advantage over the other person. What is wrong is when you get undue advantage that is not deserving. I will even give an example. If I get for run a race at my age with a 95-year-old person, I don't think he or she will have undue advantage if they put the person, let us say, would run a 440 yards race. I don't think the person will have undue advantage if the person is given half the distance ahead of me because of the age, because the difference of age. That will not be an undue advantage. I think it's only fair that me start from behind because I think I could run faster. And I think all things being equal, I may be in much physical and better shape. So that person, they get an advantage because they start way ahead of me. So if I end up run for Passam and can win, I think it's a fair competition. The undue advantage is when you have somebody my age, but because of tribalism or religion or something, you put on half the distance, then you send me in for compete. That's not competition. So this is what we're talking about. So when you get leaderships that come to power, they not even want to exercise that intellectual fitness day for say, well, now I get 17 tribes under me for govern. I am president for all the people, not some of the people. How do I do this? This is where the PhDs then will get so many in abundance. This is where they're required for come up with ideas, come up with creativity, come up with resourcefulness. But what is the point in having all them PhDs here, but they not get the ability for set policies? So this is a problem. And we all know some of we will go college and get degrees. We know the difficulty in getting a master's degree, in getting a bachelor's degree, and the hardship involved in getting a PhD. But it's very disappointing when you get PhD holders who come, they don't know the left from the right. And that's because people are not being put in the right positions. So even this dialogue, I get me opinion on that with respect to not the right people then did not even participate in the dialogue on behalf of the respective parties them, because I doubt very much if you get anybody on both sides and that dialogue we get any skill in negotiation, and look at the draftsmanship. Too much ambiguity and vagueness and multiple understanding and misunderstanding. And we expect compliance. It's kind of hard. Let me go back. I was going to go to Mr. Mengot, but let me just take one or two callers. Hello, caller. What your name? Where you call from? Let me just take one or two callers. Hello, caller. What your name? Where you call from? Please call out. Please call. Turn your instruments down. If you get TV or radio or something, turn it down. It echo.
Is it echoing now?
No.
Okay, thank you so much for all waiting on the say, contribution, What I want to say in brief, politics not to pick and play. There are plenty of people don't become interested in Sierra Leone politics suddenly for the wrong reason. not to really for the country interest, not just for party, because today this person in party no they make everything where they go on a bad. This person in party na saint. So that is just the crime. But what really people they advocate for, you question them, they know they tell you anything. They know they bring anything substance na the table where go benefit we or where go sanitize we election system tomorrow. Nobody will just they say they cheat, then this fine. How they cheating come in place? Now make her say, now maybe the right standing. In any country, we not look at we history. Inside house self, waiting we don't they go on the prevailing situation. We not go able to move forward. We bring these two parties together, just like the one they will handle this issue come. Then call them first. Then go on at the party office, then go meet with them. Then discuss. They not tell we waiting they discuss this. So at the end of the day, history is always part of the thing. And you're not a lawyer. Precedents and law now in the great governance. So until we genuinely put them two people there together, not waiting they go on now. Now for tomorrow, how we be able to stand? But before election, we see Samura Kamara and President Bill and the sign paper, then they face their hand up. What we are this? Why make them knock out all of these issues? If we let them they consult with better people, the way they behind them, ideas, then for don't take care of all of the issue they are before we go into election. But they not be they do. At the end of the day, now maybe they ask them questions. If they meet a dialogue now between APC and SNPP, we they look at the election, the prevailing circumstances, the precedent them. This party don't benefit from these bad laws. This service don't benefit from these bad laws. Now, they can make like sense as if we don't benefit from these bad laws. So please, don't we forge ahead until then, or we put them to them, see, this has been the situation. Now, where don't feel cheated now make they count this thing. So until they accept and now the beneficiaries there, not only you have been referred to. They are still on the table, but they are pretending as if they not benefit from the bad election laws. And then they lie to the supporters then. Until then go back to the supporters and then tell them, they be honest with them, see, the law bad. And they all don't contribute, they not try to sanitize the system. Now the thing don't change, then they pretend. So Sierra Leoneans they we not honest. What you really would they cry for? The two parties then don't benefit from the same thing. Then this the halala now, like say, hey, then they don't they do right. They had all 11 years for sanitize this thing. They didn't do it because they feel they will continue. SLPP says the same. But thank God now the country now they win. At the end of the day, we know they look at the recommendation now because then money now they want the backlog. We know to them we interested in. We're interested in the recommendation we go make this thing sanitize for future election. But then they really look at. Not only where they go look at, corrupt people, what do they want? Now money, backlog. What do we want? Now what do go prevent them kind of situation where don't happen? Because now then tomorrow go make we not go back to them kind of steer. What do they want? Money, they want to go back to the council. Me left to me say, they not go to the council. All what me want now for make them sanitize with electoral system. Tomorrow, disaggregated results. Well, thank you so much. And they holler this when really now maybe ask that question. When really them don't ever they publish that. When really Sierra Leoneans don't become interested in them country. Now, I'm glad the way people then don't begin to see. But make the blame not just go on SFPP. Make APC and all political parties then take this blame. Then we move forward. Thank you so much, sir.
You're quite welcome, sir. Thanks for your comments. And your comments are well taken. And if you, I don't know if you're a regular listener of we broadcasting, we've always said that SLPP, in most cases, President Bill, I always use the phrase, an incidental beneficiary of the bad laws then would have pattern in the country by the other governments. Not to increase some of them laws there. Now it just be a beneficiary. So now that make what the advocates say, It's time to stop that. We cannot take one step forward, 3 steps backward, because it's putting us further and further behind. And if we care about the country, things can only get worse unless we try for. And God no can fix the country for will. Now we get for doing ourselves, because it don't give you the ability. Now we for hanging there and rise above this party politics and make the entire country. As a Sierra Leonean, I just don't want to see free and nice. I want to be able to go bowl and enjoy whatever take me go bowl. I want to be able to go Kenema. I want to be able to go McKinney. I want to be able to go Magoroka, Kabbalah. Because in our country, just like I would in a people country, if I go Washington, D.C., if I go San Francisco, if I go Hawaii, there are lots to be seen because of the same country. So if I decide, say, well, I want to stop here, I want to stop here, this is what we're hoping for our country. And there are a lot of things we can do for ourselves. But let me take one other call. Hello, caller. What's your name and what side you call from?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Shillon.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Shillon, this is a caller
from Paris?
From UK.
Oh, okay, UK, yeah.
It's really frustrating for the ring about what APC been doing and what SLPP been doing. It's really, really frustrating. This attitude you will get is disruptive and very divisive. And if you say it's extremely, extremely unprogressive, we need to be honest with ourselves. Whether we're in a SLPPO, whether you're in a APPO, whether you're not supporting the party, something they will set this particular government here aside from others. And that is the very, very systematic killing them of the citizens them, which people look after. They rule through bullying, through intimidation, and absolute fear, and take away people their right for expression. We need for sex the scene, we need for be honest, and we need for look at waiting not happy through this process here. Waiting different. For the first time, we get such a large number of observers them we come for elections. From waiting media member are not say we get such high number of people we come from overseas, international for come on for why? This they can't simply because they don't know say something is going wrong, something they happen. They know that. They know very well say the PR system not be a red flag, the census not be a red flag, the parliamentarian pool will be a red flag, and of course for the election there will be waiting happen. So we know that the election don't done, it don't pass. What has happened? Now we don't get the dialogue and we try to move forward. But you know what, Mr. Shillon, you can't move forward if you don't give people them some justice. Nowhere for this dialogue here, for this community where they make something not the way they say, let them investigate about the one that don't die. How the people in the prisons then die, how Mrs. Tumbuya died. Nobody not talk about that. Nobody not say we want investigations them about the lives they don't lose. Nobody. For talk peace is difficult. You can't talk with peace with people then when you know say the majority of the people in the country they grieve. People that don't lost their parents them, they don't lost their brothers them, they don't lost their sisters them, their uncle them. I mean, you can't just go on. For me, waiting then decide now for basically free themselves from problems that we can get. The financial burden, the restriction on traveling, and so on and so forth. Now we get you, Mr. Shillon. You're not very excellent law. Anybody don't call you for saying, hey, this is one chance we don't get now. If we really look at things the way they go wrong, the constitution, the electoral law, would I don't approach people saying, can't join you. Can't help we rewrite No, not they left them back to what they where they open, so that they can misinterpret them. They can turn around to something else and do what they pay for you. This is not the one chance now. At least there's something really good come out of all this year. Why people here from the diaspora not for able to send somebody home where they were able to contribute for make this change and through. For look at them, very terrible. They are getting alone. Neither one make contribution.
Thank you so much, Ma. I cannot thank you enough. And your point, I hope a lot of other people in Yeri, and including the government, because we do know say sometimes some of them the Yeri, which we would say. But we always welcome people that could have for call. So thank you so much, and please continue to call. Make pass it over to my co-host, Mr. Mengot.
Well, thank you very much. And also we all the caller them there are lots of things that will come out on this communique. And we also they watch waiting people and they say the comments when they put somebody they say and la address this once and for all and make a challenge. Somebody they say there's no people and they say there's no way we don't publish disaggregated results. Right? It not ever happen. Okay. So now explain to people waiting at disaggregated result. What we are talking about, we get 11,836 polling station. Now there you start. If simple almost people register in a station, almost people vote, almost people in a valid vote, almost what is difficult about that? Okay, let's leave that and I continue. Somebody they say APC before go court forget the disaggregated data. Yes, fine, but not to APC no more. Right? One Sierra Leonean don't choose that option there. We na lawyer Senge Mara. We don't go court now. So we talk about independence of the judiciary. If the judiciary is truly independent and they want to serve the interest of the nation, I would urge the Chief Justice, if he listen to me, in the interest of all Sierra Leoneans, let him call up that case and panel judges will go look into them and see whether the request when lawyer Mara make reasonable and meet the threshold where they under the Right to Access Information Act. It is not out of order because even in the preamble, they talk about that right of access information. Both parties recognize it. So if both parties recognize, now we should see the independence of the judiciary. Let the judiciary come up now, take that case there, look into them, and say, okay, ECSL, this is not the request, right? Number one, is lawyer Mara a request and interpretation of the rule reasonable? That's what the court should do. If it's reasonable, would it be any harm to the people of Sierra Leone if ECSL publish or get that information there on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone? So that is the challenge I want to put. So let me left down there now, Lord Berrien. So now go back, because in all this, the judiciary get very important aspect for do. Now go back to the communique. If the controller can show the communique, because there are certain things in there on the resolution. If we go further down, we don't talk about the APC say they go end the non-participation in governance. Yes, somebody asked say they're only interested in, they talk about back pay. Somebody been the ask say why APC then people then for ask for money for work we they not do. That's another thing, right? Okay, if we go further down to the resolution, one key aspect they will want to look at now. If we control room, they look at we let go further down to the resolution. But before it come back, okay, and further down. No, let's go to the middle, because
number 4,
one of the
5.
things so 4 and 5, point 4 and 5. Low analyze down there for we people then. Yeah. Because we just talk about 3. If we can go to 4 and 5. Okay, 4. It says the
No,
parties to this agree. Huh?
We're not there yet, are we?
It said
okay,
yeah,
go
we are
ahead.
in 4. It said the parties to the dialogue agree the following. Release of any persons arrested, detained, or imprisoned for alleged election and civil protest, informed by a list to be submitted by the APC and other political party. Discontinuation of any politically motivated court cases against the APC or other parties. Support the resettlement of citizens. And then D will say, upon assumption of elective office, APC officials, members of parliament, will have the issue regarding their entitlement addressed according to. So this number 4 is very critical. And why is critical? The first one, if you say number 4, under A, release of any person arrested, detained, or imprisoned for alleged elections and civil protests, informed by the list to be submitted by the APC and other political parties and considered by the government of Sierra Leone. My problem with this is that these are cases where don't go through the judiciary, right? Some of these people must have been tried. Some of these people are in detention. They have not been tried, right? Some were arrested. There's not been evidence. So if now the APC get for putting a list of these people where then consider being arrested, imprisoned, or tried for political violence, does that not mean undermining our judicial system? Does it not call into question the independence of the judiciary? Because this is what we talk about, state capture. That is the first part. Let me go to part B, because I want you as a lawyer for comment on that. Me, they look at from the governance and institutional perspective. My own expertise is in governance and institutional lapses. When you get a situation where the government, the executive, now taking the role of the judiciary, because they not say you get a judicial review of all land cases. Nothing like that. He's saying APC for submit lists, and then list then they now government then they give, and now the government they consider either for all, either for left, or for free they all. Then the second thing is when you look at B, it talk about discontinuation of any political motivated cases, right? So if the two parties them go sign a communique like this, and you get this term of politically motivated cases, what's in the definition? It means there are cases that are politically motivated. And you know, let me make reference to some. When this government come, they talked about, they come with a commission of inquiry. We had a white paper. They recommend people that were involved in maladministration or tax misuse of government coffers and funds. Then they say they can contest these allegations under jurisdiction. So are we going to consider these ones as politically motivated cases? We also get cases where the mayor still in a court. We're not concluded yet. Is that another politically motivated case? We also get case of the leader of the opposition, when a contestant, the Chansky case. We don't take over 2-3 years. Where they don't waste their money, they don't go America, they don't come. We get new terms where they bring. You know, Saloma, we're very good with terms. For the poor man now, we get what they call tranganess and sufferness. For the lawyer now, in that case here, they call what they call videovising. Yes. So they say they don't videovize them. So that left on that, let hand over to me, legal luminary. Let's talk about then Tiawa race, the role of the judiciary, the executive usurping the power of the judiciary, let throw some light on this politically motivated case and judicial review of all election-related offenses. Over to you, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you. Okay. For example, if as a condition precedent or condition before anything happens, APC is demanding that them forgive a list, them for submit a list to the government, the current government, of people APC considers arrestees or detainees by the current government. And because of that, there are no factual legal basis for detaining some of them people here, and that these people should be released because the only reason why they are being held in jail or detained not because of politics. If in fact APC is saying that, which without a doubt, APC itself is acknowledging that the justice system is skewed in the sense that not everybody who is arrested or even charged with a crime actually committed a crime. That people are being illegally detained at the behest or the instigation of the government in power. That's an admission. Now, the trouble with that, my disappointment, again, I'm not criticizing APC, but when they talk about viability, meaning if you get a lot of complaint about a particular party in power, you for sure when you not kind of power, what you not go do differently and how we not go do them. So when you talk about release of people, we know in our system, there are people who've been held in jail for years. I mean, years for simple offenses, and offenses, bear in mind now, when they hold you for an offense, you've not been found guilty, you've not been tried. It's just you're accorded what you call presumption of innocence. So you catch the ordinary guy, Amadou Kagbo or Peter Johnson, whatever in case may be, you're not charging with possession of certain quantity of gamba, marijuana. For that, when I put on a Pandemba road, without regard to the man in background as to whether he's a family man, as to the number of people who depend on his ability to bring home money for sustain the family, without regard to whether he has a prior record, without regard to whether he's a habitual criminal, without regard to whether he's a constructive person in society, and the system is just hard on him only because he's poor and he don't get political connection. Now, if APC want to act responsibly, they will not be referring to political cases because they know what the facts are on the ground. They know say Pandemba Road and the prisons them all over the country are full of people who are there and who've been held indefinitely just for petty offenses. And petty, let alone major offenses, but or major offenses, but let alone petty offenses. But so if APC is trying to say they want to be a viable, in my estimation, opposition, meaning then go do better, then be able to run the country more efficiently, they get for demonstrate how you get for speak for the common man. So the man waiting at Pandemba Road, whether they did 3, 4, 5 years, whether in charge with possession of drugs, where something they are guilty of is not guilty. Who speaks for him? We are talking about just releasing political prisoners or whoever they may be, who political prisoners are. Okay? What do you mean want to see now a government or a alternative government where go speak in opposition that this wouldn't speak for everybody I always cite the Kamarimba case also. When Kamarimba was held for all these years, it seems to me APC should have been louder. They don't have to, it doesn't have to belong to a party, because you can see the manifest injustice in the process, you know, and it is in our best interest that you treat the ordinary man fairly. And Kamarimba was not an ordinary man, because he was a well-known politician, okay? But when Manadande, the system go railroad them and charge them for a crime we all know, if marrying a 14 or 16-year-old girl is a crime in Sierra Leone, a good many of we tribesmen them for them a prison. We know that, you know? And we don't say that was just a made-up charge. So the thing we may not understand now, APC, were they well represented? And I keep insisting on APC, because now when I say these guys, the current government is not doing well, I may be inclined to agree with you now in terms of governance, in terms of competence. But waiting on the show we for so say, if we're not kind of power, we're not going to do any better. The evidence just is lacking. Because if now Mr. Maraga for going to court for under the Freedom of Information Act, well, as we call it here, for demand certain documents, or when the opposition, when I supposedly get able lawyers them, should have done that long time ago. When I get capable people in the APC, we single-handedly, they're not going to do anything on behalf of the party, they could have gone to court and make that same demand they will lawyer Mara they make. So these are some of the things I don't understand. These are some of the disappointments we me to go through in terms of, all right, in a case scenario here, let us say SPP not in a power. Are we sure that if it's only the APC who is going to take over, there will be a better government? Where is the evidence for that they will do any better for the people? This is not some of the things, because they're not demonstrating that, because they don't even think they need to. So the country, okay, again, you can't left Dr. Yomkela out of this. He come up, form a political party, people and get all excited and jump. What did he do? He jumped ship. You know? So that the leaderships then this would produce and the party them. That's why it is important. One of the flaws of this dialogue is wrong. It should not have been a dialogue between APC and SAPP. APC should have just been a party to the dialogue. SAPP for being a party to the dialogue. But there are also renowned opposition parties with very renowned, capable leaders with integrity who should have also been part of this dialogue. And we run the risk in our country, I can say that again with confidence, if we ever get ourselves to where we lock ourselves into those two-party political party, if you think say we'll get a problem now, in the American colloquialism, you ain't saying nothing yet. If when I make them kill them small political parties, no more Charles Magai party, no more Femi Credit School party, no more C4C. All we would have done was for sign the death sentence of the political system in Sierra Leone. Because the record is clear. We don't agree, say, two very incompetent, selfish, narrow-minded political parties, APC and SAPP, we don't agree, say, that them for rule the country forever. And that one again for fight against. So anybody, whether you agree with the system or not, if you get any hope for the country, when I must keep the other parties, them the small parties, them alive. Lastly, like I keep saying, without a strong judiciary, so these are the things we should be talking. This dialogue, not only the outcome of this past election, we should be talking about how for strengthen and build institutions. How to make the judiciary independent and gutsy You know, how do we make judiciary independent? And how do we make parliaments be more responsible? Where then go pass law in 2 hours, we then for take 2 weeks for pass. You know, how do we make parliament realize, say, encouraging one side for override them? Only muzzle the process, and the process will never work. How do we encourage the nation for understand, say, the president should not be appointing the clerk of parliament? And this has nothing to do with SAPP. It has something to do with good governmental structure. You know? So these are the things we should be talking about if we care anything about the country. We cannot expect to get good results, good outcome. Okay? And like we the plant seed now grown. You want them for germinate, and then you want that seed there for turn out good. You get for nurture them. You get for water them all the time. You get for spend time bending your back, rooting the grass them around. You get for do a lot of things. But we want good harvest without putting any investment in it. I will say lastly, but other thing, somebody called, we talk about, I've always complained, the trouble with Sierra Leone, we are full of ourselves, meaning we're very arrogant. We think, say, we learn book past everybody, which is not so. Okay? So we're not asked for help. We think, say, we get expertise in everything. And we don't. We think, say, we get exposure past everybody else, and we get the list. So when we set up all the committees there, until we get to the habit of bringing in the best and the brightest and the most qualified, we will keep harvesting them bad things there, where we continue to see. Constitution is bad, legislations are bad, because qualified people are not being put in the positions of coming forward for help the country. It's a thing of, okay, for write a constitution, we'll get lawyer this, we'll get lawyer that. So again, constitution for right. And some people like we, they say, no, not so. It's kind of like a doctor. A doctor not to treat, all doctors are doctors, medical doctors I'm talking about. But doctors do know, and we do know, say, a doctor not to treat all kind of disease. You get specialization. Certain situation call for specialty. If we want a serious constitution, we forget people with constitutional background, people who are constitutional scholars, whether they are Sierra Leoneans or outsiders, if we want a good constitution for our country. But if we just figure, say, hey, you go law school in Sierra Leone, you can write good English, and therefore you can write good constitution. If not so we feel, well, we'll go continue for harvest what you will go through. And this repeats like a circle. So these are some of the things that we me get for say, because we country, this dialogue may not see how it could bring about the change where people and they look forward to. The politicians then get a different thing when they look forward to, but I don't see how the people will get the change when they look forward to. You know, so for me, that's my own concern. Sierra Leone, not to a political party. So that said, let me turn over to Mr. Mingot and see what you get for say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shillon. And as you know, we don't come to the tail end of we arrangements for the broadcast today. And I want we controller take we back to that number 4, the one area, because they say all man get in your area where they look at. And one of the things that we mentioned, now this idea of separation of powers, I want comment on sub-paragraph 4D, which say upon some of their elective governance position, all APC officials, members of parliament, mayor, chairperson, councillor will have the issue regarding their entitlement addressed accordingly by the appropriate institution. Let's end up with that, because parliament get Naya for play. And let's go back. Because let me take Salon people and back to, because we get back and forth where people and say, where this be happen, where that be happen, we know the land we lesson. If we remember at the start of the 5th Parliament, right, the same thing happened when they want elect speaker. The APC protests, then boycott Parliament. ECOWAS coming, the same ECOWAS we can this time, they mediate. Then bring them come back. Right? But what's in them in protest for? The 10 members of some of the members of parliament, then way they be pull na parliament, say then get case na court. They didn't come back. The court decided that they should lose their seat and give them seat to the opposition where they say that they're the runner up. Where we electoral laws clearly say when that happens, there should be a by-election. And we talk about our constitution being sacrosanct.
Exactly.
So parliament has lots of point to play. But now then they talk about, now we don't get proportional representation. The ruling party get 82 members. APC get 54 seats. Right? They say then they go back because they in boycott. When they go back, then so them for look at who side them for participate in leadership, that now whose committee then go ahead and all the rest of it. But then if you go to standing orders in the parliament, it say then committee then the composition will determine by the number and strength of the ruling party or the parties in parliament. So APC, SLPP don't get 82 members already. That not will change. So they will still dominate parliament. And now they don't capture the key parliamentary committees then. When the Public Accounts Committee, when normally under Commonwealth we get parliamentarian and now we then can say that committee in our opposition for head. So Public Accounts Committee, the committee where the last parliament not ever look into the Auditor General in reports, when that then for do. Committee of Appointments. Recently, I listened to Parliament when some people then go into Committee of Appointment. The Speaker talks for the ambassadors then. Before they submit them for approval, they forget agreement. What's in that mean? It means that the country where then they go, they don't communicate to them, say then they send you ambassador, they're not ready for welcome them. He said, but they not submit that document there. And they not submit that document there. And then these people go through an assessment, or what you go say, verification process. Mr. Speaker himself talk and say, oh, for this term, I've been get pressure from all quarters, but I go let it go. Him as the speaker, he saying go let him go because he get pressure all around, but let them put on record next time it not go happen. So admittedly, he as speaker has violated the rules and procedures of parliament. Now, these 54 members then go there. You get 82. We don't get a system where they say, as many as agree, say hi. Hi. To the contrary, no, the ayes have it. So what they happen, the APC members, they go to parliament. They're not going to take care of the other committees. Right now, we see Mohamed Bangura and the first 2 APC members, they've been divided in party. They're not going to ECOWAS parliament. You want to tell me, say they go withdraw them and bring other people? How do we sound in the face of we other members of ECOWAS? They now comment one other thing where happen, where it's unprecedented. When the councillors then and the mayor then from the APC side boycott the sitting, we see the man where they in charge now the Freetown City Council, when I the city administrator decide for appoint somebody from the opposition as interim mayor. We not get nothing of that in our constitution. Or even we lost them in local government. So when you get an elected position, which there is some kind of discussion about when that position will be occupied, the Minister of Local Government gets the power for address, for direct the city administrator, for appoint somebody, I will call an interim mayor. These are all violations of our rules and procedures. So for me, as a governance person and somebody we don't get experience na the mother of all parliament and don't work now other African countries for help with the laws them, I feel to say if we not fix with parliament, because now they all the bad thing they happen. All the laws there and then powers there where they get ECSL. Now through parliament it come out. We get procedure for approved bills. We see say before the last the last parliament end, then they take 2 hours for pass bill in a parliament for become law. These laws become the bad law. And then bad lawyer, politicians them repeatedly go use them for favor them when they're in power. And also say they are being cheated when they are not in power because it's against them. So for me, as a governance person, I think say not only are we going to look at the judiciary, we get for look at with parliament, we get for look at with standing orders, we get for look at with procedures of parliament, we get for look at how they make law. Parliamentary reform. Because parliament, you get the 3 arms of government. Now then they decide how the judiciary they operate and how the executive they operate. So if we not fix parliament, we continue. Not for just let members then go now, they say, oh well, they go back, let them give you all the entitlement. It shows these people are not serious. So as an advocate for governance and somebody who talks about parliament all the time, my own plea to Sierra Leoneans and to the government and to our people, let us look at our lawmaking body and fix them. If we not fix them, all other things will crumble. So now me final take down there, fumble them, I glad way and I listen to we. And I go read one more way somebody say, I don't believe the Sierra Leone is the constitution, is the problem. It's just that any party in power always interested in their favor. The Sierra Leone judiciary as the third organ of government is some way contributes to what presently going on. Yes, my colleague here don't talk about the judiciary. That's his area, he's a lawyer. Me don't talk about parliament because me a governance expert and I've been privileged to make laws, not only in the UK, but also in Africa. So I will end there. We'll get one more caller. We're going to be a privileged person. We're going to end this conversation. Now listen to that caller. Then this is my last take until I come back for can say goodbye. I hand over to Mr. Shilon. Let promise that caller. They will take this one call and end this broadcast. We thank you now for listening
I'm going to take this one call. Before then, Mr. Mengot, I will please ask to prevail on you. There was number 8 on that dialogue, and me and you began to think about something like moral, something. We will be the top of number 8. Yeah, moral guarantor. I'll go really like you address that after the call.
Close the marks round up. Yeah,
yes,
because that will be a good roundup. Let us get the caller, then you can use that as a good roundup.
Okay. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where's the call from? Oh. Something is wrong because the line is showing busy. So I don't know whether the caller hung up. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where's the call from? Okay. Is the caller on the line? Hello, caller, or the caller dropped? The call was dropped. Okay, just very quickly because we're at the end of the show. Now that's number 8. there was some phrase there with me and Mr. Mengo to talk about. This communique within draft where everybody sign. If way number 8 will say there shall be actions and commitments by the parties to implement the agreements reached during the mediated dialogue. You see, we read them slowly because the writings are small. To this end, the government of Australia and the APC, they keep insisting, and the APC, they consider other parties them, which is a terrible dialogue. Because not the APC and SFPP or the government of Australia, APC no more, they in opposition, and the APC party commits to the establishment of an independent committee of moral guarantors whose membership shall be agreed by the parties to support and monitor the implementation of this agreement. Now, first of all, the trouble with not only this paragraph, they get a lot of phrases now where there are no specificity. When you talk about moral guarantors, well, how do you guarantee morality? How do you legislate morality? And who has a qualification to pick and define morality? So when we talk about moral guarantors, who are these people? Are they clergies? Now, alpha them? Now, somebody will not lie one day in life? Now, somebody will live a straight life? So who are these moral guarantors now where APC and SFPP go form a committee of? Who are they? What? I mean, agreements get specificity. You get for talk, get clearly. So when you talk about moral guarantors, you forget the element of what constitutes morality. And morality is one thing, but what qualifies a person to be a moral guarantor? What qualifies me? Because we all live by one standard. There are certain set of rules in society, of course. But so by whose standard, by which morality? We not say you can't kill another person. But then also the law say you can kill in self-defense if your life is threatened. We all say lying is bad, but you have a constitutional right to lie. Now you free speech nowadays. So and on and on and on and on. So why will we even have a phrase like moral guarantor? Well, this is not the vagueness way. So me not understand when the drafts people, they wouldn't have the lawyer, they will represent APC for see the ambiguity there, the open-endedness, and some of them phrase there, where in the end it means nothing. And this is what happened with NGC and SFPP. Then grab and go sign, which then consider an agreement that conveyed nothing and meant nothing. Okay? So NGC, they talk about they might go to court for enforce whatever guarantee. So how do you enforce an agreement like this? If somebody say SFPP has been in violation of item 8, how do you get a court for defined moral guarantor or morality to start with? So these are some of the things. Again, if they will stop giving NTN then to lawyers, if not that happen, or to bookman them because they can write English, and start getting people who will really put some thought into some of their agreements there, I think we might come out okay. But it looks like that's the draw up stuff. And I don't want to criticize, but I know say in law school, we all get different ability. Even when we all do law school, some people they make better grades in government, in contract than others. Some people then you get lawyers the way they're in specialty, not contract law. Are we getting these people involved? Or we just get people that we get certificates at the wall for draw up engineer? So I see so many openings by this agreement. I don't see where it's going to lead. I think too many ambiguities, too many vagueness, too many things. They are like roads to nowhere, one of the lead anywhere. Now let me see. But that said, again, we can always say in this show, we welcome, like me, so as a lawyer, where the questions some of them there. I hope certain lawyers in Australia or the people involved in putting this document together, the world will reach them for say, Mr. Shillon, but they criticize some of them in there. You can call me privately, or you can come on the show for defend what you want to put together. You know, but otherwise, this thing about us just assuming that we know it all, and we can draw up constitution, we can draw up agreements, we can draw up this. When you analyze them, if you take the matter to court, it can be thrown away in a moment because of the lack of specificity, the vagueness involved in it, weight they're not taken into consideration. I just ask that we begin for change our attitude towards then committees then over the setup. Now, we'd almost run out of time, so unless me co-host wants to say something, I thank everybody for listening or taking up the time, because I think we're going to get many other things to do, listening to we and making the contribution. So until next week, goodbye.
Well, family, then goodbye. I'm not getting nothing much for say, and I'm just wishing a very fruitful week. And until we meet again, let God bless and guide we, and let God continue for protect all we people in our salon, and let we get the change we want. Good night, good day to everybody.